Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have Andrew on Death and Taxes versus Ted on Eldrazi. We'll see exactly what type of Eldrazi list. There's been quite a bit of commingling between these two archetypes, including a spin-off Death and Tentacles, kind of taking some of the best parts of both decks. Eldrazi certainly has the much bigger creatures. Death and Taxes has a whole lot of tricks up its sleeve, though. So we'll see which will prevail. Both of these mana bases very solid. Eldrazi, because it's all colorless, really never going to have any type of mana color issues. And Death and Taxes mono white has a ton of basic lands, which is nice versus opposing wastelands. Though, to be fair, it does have a bunch of non-basics as well. You can take a look at Caracas, Rishadenport, Wasteland, occasionally other utility lands as well. We've got a Chalice at 1, and that's going to shut off Aether Vial, Mother of Runes, Swords to Plowshares, a bunch of potential useful tools. Ancient Tomb destroyed by that Wasteland, and now Eye of Ugin into Mimic and a couple of Endless Ones. And just like that, with one land, Ted's able to put out 6 power, and Andrew is cut off from his 1 mana play. Thanks to Chalice, it's going to be at least a turn before another creature shows up. Matter Reshaper joins the fray. That's going to pump up. Oh no, that's an Urborg. That's actually not going to work. Urborg can only tap for black mana. Stoneforge Mystic getting Batterskull. This could actually be enough to turn the tides here. A Blast Zone. So that could get rid of the Germ, but at what cost? Matter Reshaper. And now 6 damage coming in. So we've got a Mimic along with another Matter Reshaper. Now, is Batterskull enough here? Let's see if it blocks the 3. Yeah, he'll be alive. Matter Reshaper pumping up the Mimic. That actually complicates the math here. Does that do it? I think it might. It does. The Batterskull, Andrew's done the math. It's just enough damage. I believe that's Xaxes. Those Mimics getting just the +1 damage. Batterskull blocking 1 of those Matter Reshapers. And the rest adding up to just exactly lethal. It's a very interesting game. 2 very clear paths that Ted could have taken. He went for the 6 damage, kind of empty the Warren style plan, just spamming the board there on turn 1. The other possibility for Eldrazi is to hold back on those Endless Ones and get the most value out of them. Also works well with the Mimic. So those are. Which line would you take? Let me know in the comments. Would you have gone all in like Ted did, hoping to just sweep through the game, or would you hold on to those Eldrazi or Endless Ones and be casting them, pumping up your mythics, and then hitting for 5 or 6 damage depending on how much more mana you have? That Urborg would have made the first Endless One come down for 4, and that life would have been reclaimed pretty quickly. It's not totally obvious which line is better. Worked out for Ted, though. Blast Zone. Very interesting printing. It feels like it'll be an eternal staple. Just a solid utility land. Cavern of Souls. Another one of those lands that's just part of the myriad of different mana base options. Making uncounterable Eldrazi. It's nice when it's tribal and it works with your entire deck. Stoneforge Mystic, one of those cards that doesn't work great with Cavern of Souls. just because there's just not that much overlap with its creature types. Also doesn't tap for white for its activated ability. We've got an well, not uncounterable, because that would be impossible to do in this particular scenario. We've got a Matter Reshaper off of the colorless from Cavern of Souls. And Batterskull, nearly enough last game. Looks like it'll easily be enough unless Ted's able to go over the top with some type of Matter Reshapers, Reality Smashers, I mean. Endless One? Oh no. No, that can't be right. He's swinging. Looks like he's ready to cash this in. We've got a Germ being sketched up on our new infinite tokens. Matter Reshaper going to the yard and replacing itself. Just giving Andrew 4 life there. Revoker. That's going to shut down this Endbringer, and that feels pretty bad for Ted. He has effectively 5 mana, so he can get out something like a Reality Smasher. Blast Zone's going to take out that City of Traitors. Floating for 2 in response to the trigger, and using that to pump up the Blast Zone. He might be okay if he can get rid of the Stoneforge and the Revoker with the Blast Zone, but he needs 2 more mana in order to do that. Aether Vial coming in. Sanctum Prelate coming in at 2. One more mana necessary for this Blast Zone to do its thing. I have Ugin not tapping for mana unless there's an Urborg out. It is slightly amusing that in praise of Eldrazi's mana base, we did see one of the few times where it stumbles earlier, where a Urborg actually not able to create colorless mana. Thought Not Seer disrupting Andrew's hand, getting rid of the Umezawa's Jite. That card does wreak havoc on combat. And the 4/4 Germ trading with the... Oh, is it not trading? Is Endless One like a 5/5? Not Endless One. Endbringer. I haven't sleeved that card up in a while. In my head, I was thinking it was a 4/4 like the Thought Not Seer. It does not appear to be the case. Oh, it's a big boy. It's a 5/5. That's something. So we've got a return and put back out of the Batterskull. Blast Zone clearing a couple of Andrew's cards, but he still has a bunch of life and a 4/4 Germ. It looks like perhaps maybe it's time to ship over that Batterskull onto the Sanctum Prelate. Yeah, and he sees that line, and he's going to go for it. Matter Reshaper, a speed bump, getting a Thorn of Amethyst. Endbringer pings. Karakas. Another non-colorless land, but great utility. Particularly good versus Death and Taxes. We see here Andrew has access to Thalia off of Aether Vial. So Karakas can play around stopping that. Stoneforge Mystic coming in. Likely just Sword of Fire and Ice left. Umazau's Jite has been handled. Ooh, is that another Fire and Ice? That looks like a Judge promo Fire Ice. It's really nice. Yeah, that looks like the Judge foil, Sword of Iron Ice. Beautiful. So Jite handled, Batterskull in play, Sword likely the last piece of equipment. And that will really Voltron together to make quite the monster here. Endbringer can prevent a creature from attacking or blocking, or draw a card, or ping. So for now, a little bit of a standstill. Endbringer actually going to be able to trump the Thalia, being able to just ping it. So Thalia not really going to be much of a consideration. Gets the untap during the end step. Wasteland stopping that blast zone from getting to the point where it can clear the Stoneforge Mystic, or the Sanctum Prelate, which would actually be pretty brutal. There's a Sword of Fire and Ice to handle as well. Blast Zone could be a very powerful card. Mother of Runes. And, ooh, how did that happen? Mother of Runes feels like it should have got shot down by the Endbringer. I'm not sure if I missed something there. Feels like Endbringer should definitely have been able to break that up. Probably not the most impactful. I mean, it's got the sword on it now, so it's something. It's not nothing. Ratchet Bomb not able to be played. He's going to need to, if he wants a Ratchet Bomb, he's going to need to like Matter Shaper into it, or Matter Reshaper into it. Thalia comes down. Andrew getting bold with his X1s. And using the Endbringer to make it so a creature cannot attack. Passing that sword back and forth like a hot potato. Ted can ping down the Thalia now if he wants. This is getting to be a kind of complicated game state. Instead, he's using it to draw cards. So he could ping, and then Andrew could return it with Caracas, and then he could vial it back in. There's all sorts of tricks that could be played here. Sword of Fire and Ice. So it looked like he may have tried pinging Thalia there. I think he just Caracased it. So this Endbringer doing heavy, heavy lifting. He can prevent creatures from attacking. He can potentially, if he gets a moment, kill some X1s, like either Mother of Runes or Thalia when they're not holding a sword. Now Thought-Knot Seer shows what looks like a Masterpiece Aether Vial, I believe. And a creature that is taken. Endbringer untapping. This is a grind. A lot of decisions being made here. Damage actually coming in now, as there's two threats to consider. Sword of Fire and Ice. Now Ted has a Caracas, so Thalia should never be connecting. He's drawing a card. He's got a Caracas to stop the Thalia. He can prevent whatever's holding Batterskull, right now Sanctum Prelate, from attacking with the Endbringer. Endless One. This could be very big. But no, and now Ulamog. It's like I thought he was just going to cast a giant Endbringer. Instead, we've got a gigantic Ulamog. Or Kozilek? I think that's Ulamog. I think that's Ulamog. Ceaseless Hunger. Exiling 2 permanents. And going to exile 20 cards from the library when it attacks. That's a way of grinding this thing out. It's also a 10/10 blocker. I would say that Ted may have stabilized here. Ulamog, a very real problem. Endbringer, targeting Thalia. Just going to let her die, keeping the Caracas to potentially try and bounce the Ulamog. Doesn't seem like that's going to work out. There's a Wasteland that could prevent it. And he's just going to let that happen. He's not going to bounce the Ulamog. Not that desperate yet. Endbringer drawing a card. Another Mimic. I mean, Ted might consider bouncing his own Ulamog post-combat here. Endbringer untaps. Batterskull coming down. Flicker Wisp. Oh, is Flicker Wisp going to get there? Oh, and it does. Flicker Wisp comes down after Ulamog. Absolutely wrecks some house. And wow, it looks like... I wonder if Ted could have actually bounced the Ulamog and replayed it to get rid of that Sword of Fire and Ice. Just able to hang on there. Andrew taking down a very long game. I'm going to go ahead and mark that as a win for Andrew just so I don't lose track of the game count. That was a very long game. Almost 40 minutes. About 35, 36 minutes, something along those lines. We'll see if this match actually ends up going to time or not. A lot of decisions were made there. A lot of decisions were made. That Flicker Wisp, pretty brutal. Yeah, during the end step, that's complicated. Oh, I'm missing this here. We've got Aether Vial off of... I'm not sure what that land is. And a Matter Reshaper off of a Wastes and an Eye of Ugin. Rashad and Port. That may just be a basic Plains with art I'm not familiar with. Eldrazi Mimic coming down for free. Doesn't need to tap. Oh, Rashad and Port tapped the land. There we go. I'm catching back up. Ratchet Bomb being powered out by double Simian Spirit Guide. Mother of Runes coming in off of the vial. Ratchet Bomb ticks up to 1 and is eyeballing a 2-for-1. Very important turn here for Andrew. Mirren Crusader. That guy does serious work. Double strike when holding equipment is a world of pain that Ted does not want to even casually drive by. Umezawa's Jite without the mana to equip it. And Ratchet Bomb's gonna get popped here. Mother of Runes gonna go away along with the vial. Nothing to put in off of it, so activating but nothing to put in. Couple of Rashadan ports, and now a Walking Ballista. That can take out the Mimic in response to a trigger if Ted does have any big creatures to aid his cause. Looks like just a Ratchet Bomb in hand. Another Ratchet Bomb. And that can blow up for 0, taking out the Ballista. That's not nothing. That takes out the Mimic. It is still a 2-for-1 against Ted. Mirren Crusader poised to start causing some serious problems. Thalia, another first striker. And these line up so poorly for Ted. This Matter Reshaper going to pick up the Jite, but if it gets into combat, it's not going to deal any damage. Swords to Plowshares actually exiles him. Let me see if Matter Reshaper, I thought it was a leaves the battlefield trigger. It may be a dies trigger. Dies, yes. So they are playing it correctly. The double strike from Mirren Crusader quickly evaporating Ted's life total. Stoneforge Mystic finding a piece of equipment. It's going to be Batterskull. Sword of Fire and Ice would have been a bit more spectacular, as that would give Mirren Crusader +2/+2 and 2 damage for both parts of his attack using double strike. But Batterskull's found, and that is enough to get the concession. Ted showing us quite an entertaining match, but ultimately falling to death and taxes. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.